Hello and welcome to the Power BI Office Hour for this week. And this is the agenda for this week. And today, this is what we will be going through. So we're going to create a cool dashboard in 10 minutes. I hope I make that time. Then well, I'm going to take you through the DAX calculate formula, the DAX filter formula, the DAX summarize formula, the DAX values formula, the DAX switch formula. We're going to see some interesting PowerQuery view features, and I'm going to also answer any questions you have for me. So just remember that you can always ask your questions on the Q&A. So there's the Q&A on the right side of the screen. You'll be able to ask your questions and I will see it here and tackle them. So there's a long journey ahead of us, so it's better I start right now. So how do we do a cool dashboard in 10 minutes? Ready? Okay, so originally I had some ideas, but then I changed it midway. And so let's see what we will do right now. I'm going to show you what I suddenly just changed my mind to doing. Let me switch it to a company that makes better sense. Well, so that you don't get me wrong, Cadbury makes sense. I mean, a company with that has a lot more trade. Let me use that word. Cadbury is a great company. I am a shareholder there. Well, I used to be. I still have some, but not so much as before anymore. All right, so we are going to build something for the stock market that also allows you put your mouse and you can see some information about that company come up as an additional thing, right? So tooltip. All right, so I'm going to delete all what you're seeing here. And there's also real estate data here. I'm going to delete them. So we are left with a blank. Okay, so we are left with 3 blank sheets, right? This is what the underlying data looks like. So I have 3 tables. So there's the Nigerian Stock Exchange daily data. And let me just show you what that looks like. Okay. So it shows every day the different companies, their opening price, closing price, low, and some information about the stock market. And every day I get it. We have a database that warehouses this information. Then some of my team members are working on real estate data. So there is land, how much lands are selling in different parts of the country, Lagos, the estate, the title of the land, maybe it's just land or there's house on it, and then the date of the listing, and then how much. And so that way we can be able to check a trend, which aspect of Nigeria is the prices of land appreciating faster than other parts of Nigeria. And nothing better to tell you this than the data, because there's always what the culture, what the fad is, what everybody expects, and there's also what happens in reality. So in this case, we want to look at reality, and fashion takes time before it catches up with reality. And when reality has changed, fashion trend will still be, still there before it dies out. So you want to be in early on any of all these opportunities, and this is what this analysis of this one shows. Then there's also for rental data, right? So there is also different rent information. So this can be good for people who need to relocate, and you want to plan, you want to know which part of Abuja, rent is cheap, or what to expect when you relocate. And if you have multiple choices of where to go, you can be able to compare the 2 places or 2 or more places you have in mind and see what, a 4-bedroom, 4 toilets, as 1 BQ kind of house will cost you. And again, I have another of my team member working on this. So I think right now I should start my 10 minutes. So what kind of meaningful insight can we draw from, and then at least let's do the stocks and the rents, you know. So on our Macs, so on my Mac, I get set and I go. All right, so I want to be able to see for the different companies. So I want to be able to see for the different companies what their, so I drag there the company, I mean a slicer, and then I'm going to put a symbol so that I see the ticker for all of those stocks. As for market segments, I want to see both equity and premium listings. So premium are those on the premium board. So that's where MTN, some couple of other companies are there. So I'm going to just leave it like that there. So maybe I'm happy with this. Then I also want to see what the price trend has been like. So I put in a bar chart, I mean a line chart. So I drop a line chart in there. And this line chart, this is it. And what I want to see is I want to see over the years and months and days. So that is dates in the axis. I want to see what the price, the closing price has been, you know, closing price. And I want to be able to specify for a particular company. So that means I want the company name to show, or for this case, let's just use still the symbol. Where's the company name? All right, I'll just use the symbol for now. I can also use the company name. There's a name field. So right now, that makes it possible for you to pick a particular company you're interested in. So let's look for an interesting company. Let's say, let's pick Dangote Cement, and you see what the price action has been like, you know, over that period. So you can see how Dangote has been like for quite a long, a length of period. And then I want to see what the volume of trade has been like. So I had another line chart, and then this one, I'm going to, maybe not line, let me make it bar. Bar will be a lot more interesting. So I'm going to switch this to bar chart. Okay. So I want to see over dates. I want to see what the volume of trade has been. Okay. I'm having a change of heart. Let's not do this. Let's do what the price change has been. Yeah. So this will be more meaningful. So when it gains, when it loses, when it loses, sorry. So yeah, price change, because that's where we capture the daily gain. It gained 5%, it gained XY percent. And so, and this price change, okay, it's already in it's like a percentage anyway. So I want this, that when the stock gains, I want this to show. Let's go pick another company. Let's say, let's pick something like First Bank. Great. Oh, so you see it has a lot more bars, right? So when it gains, I want that to be green. When it's a loss, I want it to be red, right? So what do? I go here and I go to format, and then I say that I want the data color to be based on a condition. So this is the interesting thing that we are going to start touching on gradually. I can say I want to use a formula to determine the color. So I'm going to click on this and say that I want it to be, well, not by count. I want it to be by that P change. So that price change, you know, what that value exactly is, and how I want it to be is, let's use a, yes, color scale, but then I'm going to specify the colors I want, and I'm going to make them So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use a rule. All right. So going to change this to average again. Okay. Right. So I need to make this to come off that. Oh my God. All right. I clicked on something off. So P change. Good. Average. And then I need two colors. And let's start with, I want it by number. Good. So when it is when it's greater than 0, well, they don't let NSA has a band 0 minus 10% to plus 10%. So, well, for this case, let me leave it as 100 because occasionally there are glitches. Okay, so when it's this, between this and this, I want the color to be green. So let me go look for the type of green I want. Good. Then when it is greater than or less than 100, but it's less than 0. Okay, so I want this to be red. All right, so let's check out if my logic is well done. Voila, so that is it. So now it's showing when it's a price gain is green, when it's not a gain, when it's a loss is red, right? Good. So we're making some progress. Now you notice this thing that keeps coming up, right? So what I've done is I've created a page. I call it tooltip. You can call it whatsoever you want. And then so see in the beginning, so I created it, I call it tooltip. I enabled tooltip here. I sized it to be a bit smaller in size, something like this portrait slim in terms of the width. So, but that's what I've done. And the only extra thing is I turned on, tooltip here. Okay, so once you turn on tooltip, now I want, what do I want to show in here? I want to put a card, a multi-row card. Okay, so this multi-row card that I'm putting in here, I want it to always show the name of the symbol of the company, the price, is that price again? The price. I want it to show the, let's show the, what other interesting thing? Let's show the change also, how much it gained, how much it lost, and the price to earning ratio. Let me just tick to be faster. The earnings per share, the volume value, 52-week and low. So let's say these are the things I wanted to show. Let me, okay. And then I wanted to show always for the most recent date that is being picked. So I'm going to say date should come to top N1 by date and latest date. Apply. And also I want this to happen to things where there is a symbol, so that whenever you pick on anything that has a symbol, it should, when it's used as a category, yes, it should automatically display this. So these are the things that make it special. The fact that you had something to say whenever any reporter have used symbol, it should automatically show this tooltip. And because I've turned it as a tooltip, it will default show everywhere that there is a symbol used. So that with this now, whenever I'm here and I pick on I click here I'm always going to see those information. Okay, so some things didn't hard. Let's just go bring them back in. So that's 2 tips. My 10 minutes. Let's just see what I thought I added a lot more volume value. I added a lot more of those things. Yeah? So anyway, you get the whole idea. And so it will always show whenever you've picked anything. So let's go look for a company, say WAPCO. And even when you put your mouse also on any of these, where it's that symbol part. Yeah. So I see those information about it, and I can change the color if I want to. So we can make this look a lot nicer later. So for now is the concept. Then for the real estate, I drop a map. So I drop a map. And then I say the state should go to the location, and then the rental fee, the annual rent, should go to size. So that states where the annual rents are really high. And then what I want is the average rent. And I can also, in fact, sometimes it's better to pick the median so that you can see truly what that is more representative sometimes than the average, because somewhere like just one house in Banana Island can change the whole of the average for Lagos. So let's pick median anyway. So we stick to what's more realistic. And then I also want the states to show in different colors. And then I want to be able to say that what type of house am I looking for? Am I looking for one with 3 or 4 bedroom? So number of rooms you want in the house. Do you want a 3 to 4 bedroom house? What would be the rent in places like that? And that's interesting. Imo State, it's that median I chose that's a bit tweaking. So it's showing on average. I mean, typically median way anyway. So I'm going to also say maybe I should just reduce this a bit so that we can have this display a bit nicer. And if you want this to display as a list, yes. If you want it as a horizontal list, that is also possible. Okay, so maybe this is cool. And then we can say we want the number of rooms. Do you want a 4-bedroom house, a 3-bedroom house? And what's the typical price for all of that? So you see Abuja, you see Lagos, and thereabout. I don't know what kind of houses will have 10 rooms. Huh? Those should be mansions. Then how many toilets do you also want? So we can drop that in. So the number of toilets. Okay. So some houses have 44 toilets. That is awesome. And what about, do you need it to have a BQ? No, does it have a BQ? Yes or no? So you get the whole drift. Easily you can show all of that without having to do much. And so time's up. My 10 minutes is up. Sure, right? I did try, right? I hope I tried. So I hope you've been gaining some things from this. So I'm going to move to the next thing on the agenda, which is DAX calculate formula. Maybe I can throw in another dashboard, since I think What do you think? Well, let's just move on to the DAX form. So I go to calculate. So I want to show us something interesting. Right. So I'm going to create some new sheets. So let's say I want to show in a card average rent of houses in Nigeria. You know, let's say so I want to show what Lagos is like. So let's just add a label. I'm going to say so let's say this is going to be just Lagos, right? Okay, good. So now I want to do a formula that should get for me the average house rent in Lagos. And all I do is I say new measure. I say average Lagos rent. And if I do this average of annual rent, you see, in my data, I have the whole of Nigeria. So if I go with this formula, I'm going to have the whole of Nigeria, which is not what I want. What I want is, I don't want the whole of Nigeria because this is going to give me the whole of Nigeria. I want to limit it to just Lagos. So that's where this amazing, let me just drag this in here so you see what the result is. So this gives me for the whole of Nigeria, and that's not what I want. What I want is just for Lagos, right? So what do? I use the formula called calculate to specify what is called the filter context to control the context in which my measure evaluates. Okay, so I want to control this context to just be Lagos only. So let's see that. Let's do that. Lagos only. I go again back here. And the format is, I'm going to say calculate. So I wrap that my original, what I want in a calculate. And then what I do is I say where states. So where state in rental, yes, is equal to Lagos. Of Lili. Okay. And voila. This is what will make that happen. Specifically this. And then this helps me to control the evaluation context to just limited to Lagos, right? So I'm going to go ahead and click on enter, and you will see that that takes effect. So average rent in Lagos is definitely higher than average rent in the whole country. Okay, so good. Then what I want is I want to see for a 3-bedroom, so what the rent is like for a 3-bedroom flat, right? So we are again going to do another measure, which we will put in a different okay. So another measure we're going to put in a different card. So I'm doing new measure. I'm going to say this is average rent for 3-bedroom. For a 3-bedroom house, right? Calculate the average rent then haha. So I'm going to show you something interesting. We are going to say, as usual, where the state is equal to Lagos. But not just that, but also where the number of rooms is equal to 3. And I close the bracket. Okay, so I can add as many filter conditions, to limit the evaluation to just what I want. I can add as many. In this case, I've added 2 now, right? So I've added 2. I've added for states. I've added for rental 2. So I'm going to click on enter. And let's use it. I think it's still working. Okay, so let's use this in the card average rent here. Okay, so this is the rent for a 3-bedroom, the average rent for a 3-bedroom flat. And this that I've done, there are multiple ways to do this same. So I can, instead of using this approach, so I'm going to comment out that portion and say that I want to use a filter. So there's a formula called also filter where I'm going to say, okay, you know what? I want you to filter, go through all of the, so I can say filter, get me the entire, what's the name of that table again? Rental. So go through the rentals table for me. But then I want you to check for where states, so rental, but state is equal to Lagos. And so are you seeing another interesting thing? We are using and now. So and say and where what's the other thing we did the other time? Number of bedrooms. Where bedroom, number of rooms, I mean. Number of rooms equal 3. Okay, so 3.35 million. Let's see. And I close them all. Okay, so something is happening right now. It's saying we cannot format, we cannot convert. with values type of integer, considering the value of format. Which one of them have I gotten wrong? All right, so I'm going to, I think I know what I've done wrong. I had it just one hand. It's double hand. Yeah, sorry. So it was coming as a concatenation. So it's double hand. Sorry about that omission. So we'll also talk about the one where this double line is like hand, and then there is a or. So or is so this is where these operators make life a lot more easy, like a lot easier, kind of, with the hand you can separate. The or is very easier to write with using this operator. So we can say if it is Lagos or it is 3-bedroom, right? So remember, or is this, and is double hand. Okay, so I'm going to move on to so I've talked about calculate, I've brought in filter, then let's bring in, let's just talk about filter in itself. So how does filter work? So what filter does is, let me show you in a very, so let me turn on my DAX Studio. So DAX Studio allows me to show you intermediate steps. So I can show you what is happening as regards formulas that gives back a column or returns a table. So I'm going to say it should connect to my what is the office hour, right? I think that's the name. Let me just verify. Yes, office hour PBI. This. So I want it to connect to this, and then this is what I want to use. So I want to demonstrate how filter works. Filter helps you to, the same way in Excel where you have, let's see if I have not closed all of my Excel files. So the same way in Excel where you could have this type of table and you say that you want to put in a filter in it, and you want to say it will filter by greater than people who are older than, say, 30 years old, right? And the table will reduce to just that and it gives you that. That's the exact same way filter, well, in a broad way, that's how it works. So I'm going to say I want to, don't mind the use of the evaluate, it's just so that it makes it easier for me to show you how the filter returns a table. Okay, so filter for me, the real estate. So let's talk about lands in I need lands that are in Lagos. So filter for me, real estate table where the state, so where state is Lagos, right? And then I run this. What did I do wrong? I didn't tell it what. So just hold on a bit. Let me use this to get the filter. the real estate listings and get for me where states is equal to Lagos. Okay, so you see what has happened, right? It brings out a table that gives me only records where state is Lagos. So you're not going to see any other data come up from here, right? And if I change this to Ogun, what you're going to get is, voila, just Ogun State, right? And what was it I did wrong here? Let me just copy this one and paste here. That's funny because that was what I typed before, huh? It's that sometimes you need IntelliSense a lot with some of these things because IntelliSense helps with. So so occasionally you want to use this sometimes is this allows you to export. You could say that you want the outcome of this to be, maybe I need this in Excel, right? So I could say I want this as a file, you know, and so that way when I run this, you know, it's going to want to export to a file for me. So I can say Lagos real estate. So that's the advantage I get with this. So you're able to export it as a file out of your Power BI, and especially when someone sends you, have you had cases where you downloaded a Power BI report and you can see the data, but you want it in Excel? Yes, you can copy, you know, you can just right click and copy table. But there are some times where this doesn't work smoothly. If the table is larger than what you can paste in Excel, or there sometimes it just takes too long for a really large table. Like, I hope this is not going to take forever because this is a really large table. This has millions of rows. So you see part of the problem I'm mentioning right now. I might have to crash this Power BI table because now it's going to take a lot of time. If I had known, I shouldn't have done this on this particular one. So while that recovers, let's move to a different file. So let's go talk about another file, another formula. So values help you to get, I can say I want to get the unique states. So I can say I want values, but now I want the states. So which are the states that we have captured the data in? Let me change the output back to grid. Okay, so it's showing me that these are the states. So these are the states that my team guys have gotten, you know, information in. So this is like a distinct list. There's also distinct which does similar. There's a subtle difference, but for now, I'm not going to go into the difference. You see, it comes up with the same kind of outcome. Then what if I want to summarize? So let's see. Okay, so let's go to summarize. Let me use a different table this time around. So I have a table here that has products by branches, and then by like this. You can see the branch, the product. So maybe I want to see like a summary report where we're going to see for each state the products they sell, what's the total quantity, and what's the total sales made. So summarize is a nice formula to do that for us. If we don't want to render it with a DAX, with a matrix table. So I'm going to say summarize table equals to summarize. And I want to summarize the pizza sales data. I want to summarize it by, let's start with the branch. So we see branch first. I also want to summarize it by the products. The product is pizza, yeah. Yes, by the product. And so are you seeing it? So what I want to summarize by, I want to summarize by the pizza. No, I want to summarize this table. So this table, I want to summarize by this. I want to also summarize by this. Let's even see the outcome of this. And then I show you how we can now show the calculation in front. If you have any questions, do not forget to post your questions in the Q&A. What happened to my table, huh? All right, so you can see the table has come up. And so it's showing me, let me sort by branch so that you see what has happened. So for Abuja, it shows me for each of the states, it shows me all the products we sell in that state. Right? So you get it. Now I want to show some calculation. So I go back here, I say, okay, tell me what is the total quantity. So that's going to be the sum of quantity. Okay, so this is done. Let me just go back to where I was. Huh? So sum of quantity, right? And if I do this, I get that quantity. Let's just stop here before I add something more. So you see the table, the group by what? By what again? Then a calculation, right? So calculation group by the table itself, right? So if I do enter, let's see what happens. Okay, so you can see, and then let's just add one more and say by total sales sum of amounts sold. Voila. Okay, so that's done that already. So back to the agenda. Values, yeah, I've done that. Switch. So let's go to switch. So I'm going to, let's use the same data again, but let's use the rents. So if you go to the real estate data, so if I show you what's in the real estate data, real estate listing. So there is a portion of it that captures the title, you know, the property title, which is so if houses that have C of lands that have C of O and governor's consent are safe to buy, but the lands that do not have those, you should beware. You should, you know, try not to get into them because of different things that can happen. So if I want to do a category, something that will say, okay, you know what, check for C of O, check for governor's consent, and then, you know, when you see those ones, say they are safe, otherwise they are not. So let's add a new column. And in this new column, we are going to do switch. Okay, so someone is asking a question. What is the DAX Studio used for? I'm going to come to the question. Let me quickly be done with this part. So, you know, I want to add a commentary, a comment, which is going to be based on a switch. Switch is like if this, you know, so switch, tell me what is in the title, land title. So if what is in the land title is so this is where sometimes you'll find using the DAX Studio also a bit interesting. You know, you could write these anyhow and automatically format the way it is. But so for now, let's not worry too much about it. Let me just write it in a way you can see my screen first of all. So switch, you know, if it is C of O, right? Then say that the land is safe to buy. And if it is governor's consent, that is also safe to buy. Okay. Every other thing. Every other thing is not safe. Or let me just say beware. And then I close this and I punch in the computation. Okay. And can you see the outcome? So you will notice that title is none, is beware. Excision, beware. But CFO, safe to buy. Governor's consent, I can't find that. But you get the whole concept, right? So it works. That's switch. Switch is like it's a sort of if. The only thing is just that it doesn't do like greater than less than type, though you can coerce it to do that too also. But it's very good with categorical things, like you know for certain the kind of things you're looking for, and you just want, if this is the result that comes out, then do this, right? So let me just go click on that as column formula again, so you can all see it. Where can't find it again. Comments. Okay, so comments. Okay, so now let me answer the question as regards to what DAX Studio is good for. So DAX Studio, as you continue your Power BI journey, you start getting to cases where you do a formula that you've done it in your head, it makes sense, but then somehow the answer, the outcome is not what you're expecting. Okay, so then how do you troubleshoot what has happened in between, right? So DAX Studio allows me to do those kind of things, and also it's let me just go stepwise. For where you get it, if you go online and you type you type DAX Studio. It's a free tool by these guru guys, this the company that SQL BI guys, this Marco Russo and Alberto Ferrari. You know, if you do Power BI, it's just a matter of time before you see their names everywhere. So they built this tool, and you can download it. So you can go there, daxstudio.org, and download. And once you download and you install, it comes this way. So it allows you to be able to connect to your data sources. Again, you might want to just watch a quick video about it. But the way you use it is, you see this formula I have done here. If I copy it and I paste here, just that this will come with just one answer. Let's see what happens. Okay, so it's not going to be able to, because there is something missing. There's a table that is missing. So I need to, this is not the best way to just use it right now. I should have just used this for table. Well, this is a complex way to explain to you. This should be wrapped in a table where this will evaluate on anyway. So but naturally for the other things, measures, you can embed them in a small row. And for this one, I will have to embed it in something that will make it come up with. For now, let me, because of time, I don't want to think of something a bit easy to use for you to understand, but this is how it works. If you come here and there's a table you have and you want to just see what the table has, I can just type this and I run it and I'm going to see the table. Okay, then anything I want to do, this only evaluates to a table, so it only gives table results. Okay, so in the beginning it's difficult to use. Is as you begin to face problems in Power BI, like I mentioned, formulas not working the way you want, and you want to compare where the problem troubleshoot. This can help, or things working really slow, because this can also show you how many seconds it took for your, or milliseconds duration it took for your query to run, and you can even see the breakdown to see, you know, how long in terms of the let me look for where that one is. You can see which Power Query now has the performance of analyzer. So if you go, let me get out of here. Before now, Power Query didn't have this tool, and so a lot of people used to use that DAX Studio just for this alone. But for me, I recently have been encountering issues where I needed to see the way my formula was calculating and then fix what was causing the issue. And these are always very common with things where you're doing calculate and then you have wrapped and then you have started using, you know, some complex, you know, things like all, except, and number of all except real estate. It doesn't have IntelliSense. It has IntelliSense, but IntelliSense is not all that very good on like the native one. So sometimes I'm typing the formula in here, I'm not getting what I like, or I'm having trouble troubleshooting. I just copy some aspect of it, I go paste there instead of me using it to create a new table. And in Power BI, I just copy and I go and paste there and troubleshoot. So it's good for troubleshooting. It's a bit difficult to explain, except if I had gone to create the kind of scenarios that will make it obvious for you to understand what it does. So I want to move to something else. So that's switch. So the last bit is to show you PowerQuery interesting view options. All right, so PowerQuery has some interesting view options. If you go home and you go to PowerQuery, you go to transform data to get to PowerQuery anyway. So as you are in here, all right, so I can see this is the default, view you get naturally. Okay, so this is the kind of experience you get, you know. Okay, so if I go to view, menu, there are some interesting options. This is one I see people like to use nowadays, column quality. If I turn on column quality, so maybe you've been seeing this in some people's screenshots and you'll be like, where did they get this from? Well, this is it. So once you turn on column quality, instantly you get to see this. You get to see this. So that's one. Then if you also turn on distribution, column distribution, so let me turn this on. You see, it goes a step further to show you like a histogram. It's taking my data is really long. I mean, it's really huge. It's over 1 million rows of data. So it shows me, you know, unique, distinct, and some interesting bits. So yeah, that's another one. It can be really busy, so people sometimes don't use it too often. So these are things, and then there's sometimes if you don't know what you've done, or for some weird reasons you are not seeing this formula bar, just know that this is it. You go here. Another one that the first time I encountered it, I almost went crazy. My apply steps were suddenly not showing this place, and I kept searching and searching and searching. You know, the thing is this. So let's start with the formula bar I just mentioned. If you turn it on, off, you don't see it. You turn it on, you see the formula bar. Off, on. Then this one, off, this is gone. On. So maybe you are trying to click something, or somehow you deselected this and that is gone. It was not a small problem the first time it happened to me, and then, you know, I was like, so this tiny thing that I never worried about. And if you, for any reason, you like to see things in monospace, that's what this does, monospace. And this can help you to quickly go to a column. So if there's a column that you want to jump to, you know what the column name is, you don't want to, so I want to go to P, I just, you know, it allows me to jump there really fast. And Ahmed Oyelowo showed something really interesting, even with that you can use it to sort, you know, the columns. And that was something that I found really interesting. I never tried that before I showed that. So there are many cool things you can do with it. And I think at this stage I'm done. Let me just check for any other questions before we wrap it for today. Okay, so thank you, and that is it. Join us next week. And in case you do not know, to be in loop, we have another one next week. To be in loop of all of these activities, you should go to the meetup page. If you go to meetup page, if you go to our meetup page, that's where we list all of the activities happening. You know, next week there's another one. You will get email reminders. You will also be able to access the recordings. So just make sure you go there, right? So you can just go to meetup and, you know, Power BI-BI, or if this is too long, just search for Michael Olafusi. You know, if you just search for my name, you can easily use that to identify all the communities I lead, and you can join. So thank you very much. It's been a very lengthy day for me. I've done 3 sessions back to back. So thank you. See you next week.